His claw pressed the submit glyph. The paper, Vertigo Architecture, in primate brains, launched into the journal's data stream.
Centuries of evolution exposed. Their inner ear will betray them above any trivial height.
9 species reviewed it within hours. The debate was brief. The anatomy was damning. The inner ear mechanics are absolute. These creatures are shackled to the ground. The approvals came fast. All 9 peers stamped their consensus before the local star rose.
They understand now. No species from a death world cowers from heights. It's a biological law, and I proved it.
The journal fast-tracked publication and scheduled a keynote lecture. Krell Pess's grin bared every fang. In the Institute's grand hall, a colossal holographic brain rotated behind him as he took the podium.
Vertigo is architecture, not fear. Their inner ear cripples them. Above 100 meters, they're doomed. It's a biological impossibility.
Applause thundered. Krell Pess bathed in glory, oblivious that across the galaxy, a leak was already bleeding onto Earth's networks. Within cycles, the paper became the top science story across 17 systems. No one challenged the narrative. Anchors called it the definitive truth about human limitation. The galaxy nodded.
The evidence is incontrovertible. Humans are a ground-bound species. They simply cannot function at altitude.
Krell Pess sat for interview after interview. Each question was a pedestal, and he climbed higher.
My work will redefine the safety protocols for any craft carrying humans. They'll thank me for this someday.
The Institute booked a banquet in his honor. Colleagues swarmed to shake his claw. A senior peer called it the most significant biological study of the era.
Finally, the galaxy understands. I've peeled back the illusion of human capability.
Invitations poured in from institutes on 6 planets. He was the new oracle of biological constraints. Krell Pess stood alone on the empty lecture stage, replaying the applause in his mind. Everything was finally in its proper place. An anonymous claw uploaded the paper onto an obscure human forum. No one on the Laura noticed. Within seconds, the link pulsed through darknets, bounced between continents, and landed on a 16-year-old's phone. The boy's bored scrolling stopped cold on an alien abstract about primate brains. Vertigo Architecture in primate brains. Why Earth cannot operate above 100 meters. His pupils dilated. Then a slow grin spread across his face. He screenshotted the conclusion and posted it everywhere. The caption was 2 words, "Hold my beer." By dawn, the post had 3 million reactions. Replies flooded in from pilots, climbers, and people who jumped off stuff for fun. The hashtag number, Primate Vertigo, pulsed onto the trending boards, a beacon for every human who'd ever looked down and grinned. And somewhere in his bedroom, the boy leaned back, realizing he'd just lit a fuse he couldn't see the end of. In a cramped apartment, Jacob read his chat. Someone had dropped a link to the alien paper.
Vertigo Architecture in primate brains. Wow, someone spent real money to say I'd get dizzy above a ladder. They actually think we're afraid of heights. That's adorable.
The chat surged with dares. His viewers smelled blood.
El Capitan, 2,900 feet straight down. Crack a beer halfway. Land in the meadow. Yeah, that'll do. You guys want proof? Fine, I'll give you proof. This weekend, live stream, base jump with a beer. I'll open it at terminal velocity, drink it, and land clean. Then we'll see who's shackled to the ground.
The chat broke. Donation pings fired like gunshots. Within an hour, the clip had been ripped and plastered across every platform. Number Primate Vertigo found its champion. Jacob leaned into the camera, grin wide, beer raised. The galaxy had thrown down a theory a human had just thrown down a weekend. A nervous assistant scuttled into Krell Pess's office, a datapad trembling in her claw. "Sir, the human network is reacting. They're mocking the paper. A pilot is promising a stunt."
Stunt? A primitive bluff. They cannot actually fly. Ignore it. Human defiance is performative. Their own anatomy will fail them.
Meanwhile, Jacob's van rumbled into Yosemite Valley. El Capitan's granite wall carved the dawn sky. The live stream ticker already showed 800,000 viewers, and he hadn't even stepped out of the car.
They said 100 meters is my limit. Let's multiply that by 30. All right, chat. We're at the rim. In 5 minutes, I am going to step off this cliff and drink a beer while falling at 120 miles an hour.
The chat emojis exploded. Donation alerts screamed. 1 million humans and a few curious aliens watched the feed.
No more talking. See you at the bottom, Krell Pess.
Jacob launched himself into the void, the cliff face shrinking as the wingsuit spread wide. The roar of the wind filled his helmet as the valley floor rushed up a mile below. On millions of screens, his tiny silhouette arced against the granite, a human period at the end of an alien theory that just got the delete key.
They said, I can't do this. Too bad I am a primate.
With one hand, he pulled the beer from his pocket, bit the tab, and let the cold liquid pour down his throat. The GoPro caught it all. The foam, the manic grin, the sheer impossible defiance. He pulled the chute, flared, and touched down like a feather on the green, as if the cliff had never existed.
You wanted proof? That's your proof. I am not afraid of heights. I buy them drinks. Someone hand me another beer and I'll do it again.
The live stream counter exploded past 3 million. Donations crashed the payment gateway. Before midnight, the clip had been shared 7 million times, and across the galaxy, alien newsrooms were running the footage on loop. The first wave was just the beginning. Within the hour, 3 other base jumpers posted their own flights. Then a 67-year-old grandmother named Carolyn strapped on a parachute and climbed into a plane at 14,000 feet. She stepped out into the void, silver hair whipping, arms wide, laughing at a theory that said she was too fragile to jump. In Acapulco, a cliff diver cinched a blindfold over his eyes and walked to the edge of a 115-foot drop. He pushed off, somersaulting into the blue, the blindfold never slipping, spearing the water below. Primate vertigo surged past planetary boundaries. Trending on 13 worlds by sundown, alien news agencies ran a montage. Jacob drinking beer, Carolyn knitting clouds, the diver blindfolded. Their anchors' mouths hung open. A popular interstellar channel split the screen. Krell Pess's pristine paper on one side and grainy human chaos on the other. Comments flooded in from 13 species. These creatures are insane. Do humans feel nothing? Reclassify them somewhere on a muted feed. Krell Pess's official portrait still smiled, utterly oblivious to the tidal wave. Later, in the quiet of his office, Krell Pess finally opened the compiled human clips his assistant had been begging him to see.
What is this? They cannot. The inner ear would shut down. This must be edited. Fabricated.
But the clips kept playing. Jacob's beer foam, the grandmother's grin, the blindfolded diver's clean entry.
These are outliers. Suicidal mutations. Their species' average physiology still confirms my model.
But the numbers were mounting. 3 more base jumpers, a dozen skydivers, a teenager on a rooftop with a selfie stick.
A biological impossibility. I was so certain. The data was clear, wasn't it?
His claws retracted, then extended, a nervous rhythm. 9 peer reviews, 9 species, all of them wrong.
I cannot issue a correction yet. Not now. The humiliation would destroy me. I need time. I need an explanation.
But as he stared at the frozen image of Jacob's beer toast, he knew there was no explanation, only the wrong side of history.
No public statement. Not a word. We will wait until this human hysteria passes.
The silence didn't last. Within hours, Krell Pess's inner ear diagram became a meme about humans refusing to use elevators. His portrait was photoshopped onto a wingsuit with the caption, "Vertigo. Nah, I'ma jump."
They're mocking the science. They don't understand.
He burst into the Institute's PR wing, demanding immediate narrative control.
The Institute must issue a statement. This is an attack on peer-reviewed science.
The PR officer pointed at the meme video's view count, 500 million. Silence was the recommended play.
500 million. Silence will bury me deeper.
They posted a generic message about further research needed, and the internet turned it into another joke. He watched humans laugh at the joke on every platform. His life's work reduced to a punchline. The internet had given its final peer review. He was officially wrong, and no institution could save him now. A 19-year-old human spliced Krell-Pess's paper abstract onto Baumgartner's stratospheric jump, then dropped a bass beat that shook the timeline. Red bulls scattered. The text "biological impossibility" strobed over a 120,000-foot freefall, over and over. Within seconds, a million loops. The caption read, "Primate Vertigo, the official soundtrack to human defiance." By next cycle, alien civic panels broadcast the remix. Dubstep vibrated through plazas across 4 continents. Karel Pess watched on his private screen, the flashing lights reflecting off his goggles.
They turned my paper into a meme, an auditory assault, and it's spreading faster than any research ever has.
Young Melora citizens pointed and laughed. The phrase "primate vertigo" had become a dance challenge. In under 6 hours, the remix had more views than the paper's total downloads across 11 star systems.
I cannot fight this. The entire galaxy is laughing. My name is now a synonym for arrogant error.
The remix was the final word. No retraction could erase those bass drops. Krell-Pess was the galaxy's punchline. The remix's counter hit 20 billion. 11 star systems had number "Primate Vertigo" as their top trend. In the Institute's main plaza, a crowd of alien students danced to the remix. Krell-Pess's portrait was superimposed on a flailing human.
They're celebrating my failure. 11 systems. The whole galaxy is dancing on my grave.
His private channel chimed. A single message from Director Voss's office. Report immediately. Krell-Pess trudged to the executive wing, his claws scraping the polished floor. Director Voss sat behind a desk, cluttered with damage projections. He didn't offer a seat.
Director, I have a plan for a retraction. If I can just...
Retraction. The phrase "primate vertigo" is now a dance craze. You can't unmake this. The board has convened. They'll decide your future. I suggest you prepare for the worst.
Krell-Pess stood frozen as Voss turned back to the damage reports. The meeting was over. The verdict was still to come. Krell-Pess fled the executive wing, his claws shaking as he sealed his office door.
I'll draft a full retraction, admit the flaw, force it out before the board acts.
He opened his drafting terminal, but a red priority override froze the screen. The Institute's PR seal flashed. Communication lockdown. No public statements without board approval. Await further instruction.
They've taken my credentials. I can't even defend myself.
He slammed the armrest and tried to call the PR director, but the line disconnected before the first chime.
Assistant, get me Director Voss. I need to explain. There's still time.
His assistant appeared in the doorway, eyes down. The director's office instructed you to wait, sir. No calls.
Wait. While the galaxy laughs and my career turns to dust. Wait.
He slumped into his chair, the frozen screen burning his reflection. All he could do was wait for the board's verdict the next cycle. Krell-Pess was marched into the Institute's formal boardroom. Director Voss stood at the head of a long obsidian table, flanked by the board's silence.
The board has decided. Tomorrow, the Institute will issue a formal apology and retract your paper.
Retract. But the anatomy was sound. The inner ear models are still valid.
The paper will be renamed "Primate Vertigo: Why We Were Catastrophically Wrong." The galaxy will see our humility.
That title is a monument to my failure. You can't do this without a formal hearing.
Your new position is in the Department of Moss Studies. It's that or immediate dismissal. The board is not unkind.
Moss Studies. They're burying me in a wet cellar. My life's work reduced to a punchline and a terrarium.
Voss turned and left, his footsteps echoing the door's final click. Krell-Pess stood alone, the empty boardroom swallowing his last shred of authority. The next cycle, the Institute's apology pulsed through 17 star systems. Director Voss gripped the podium, the renamed title suspended behind him.
We were wrong. The humans are not limited by their inner ears. They are limited only by gravity and their own daring.
On Earth, the clip was ripped immediately. A living room of humans cheered, then memed it before the apology finished.
They've turned my disgrace into entertainment. The galaxy is laughing at me. Again.
He shut off the screen and began filling a crate. Research crystals. Old notes. The plaque that once read, "Lead Researcher."
This office was my throne. Now it's just a room I am being swept out of. Moss. They're exiling me to Moss.
He sealed the crate with a trembling claw. The nameplate went in last, its inscription facing down. He lifted the crate and walked out. The corridor stretched long and silent, each step a farewell.
From the galaxy's most cited biologist to the keeper of damp spores, all because of a primate with a beer.
The main doors slid shut behind him. Outside, a drizzling sky, he was just a small figure, carrying a box, already forgotten. He arrived at the Institute's sub-basement, the air thick with damp. The Department of Moss Studies was 3 humid chambers and a single assistant.
3 chambers, no windows. The scent of decay and growth. This is my new kingdom.
The assistant handed him a data slate of current projects and excused herself. The door sealed with a soft hiss. He sat at a rusted scope and positioned a slide of bioluminescent moss. The tiny filaments glowed faintly, indifferent to his ruin.
Moss. 100 years of academic evolution. And now I study what grows on damp rocks.
Yet he adjusted the focus, taking notes on spore distribution with the same meticulous claw that once diagrammed primate brains. The cycles blurred. He cataloged 3 new subspecies, a minor contribution that no one would read.
I was the galaxy's authority. Now I am a footnote in a joke I authored myself.
Some nights he simply stared at the wall, the faint echo of the remix still pulsing in his memory. But the moss grew, patient and indifferent, and slowly, so did a reluctant peace. The quiet was a kind of mercy. Jacob's phone buzzed, a call from the Melora Cliffside Tourism Bureau. He tapped accept, beer in hand. The rep's hologram bloomed in his living room. Her grin was practiced and gleaming.
Jacob, the galaxy knows your name. We'd like to offer you a very particular opportunity.
An opportunity? What? Did a cliff need a spokesperson?
Yes, actually, our cliffs are stunning, but tourism is slow. You humans don't just tolerate heights, you make them a sport. That's our pitch.
Jacob leaned back. This was either a joke or the best sequel he'd never seen coming.
Let me guess. You want the viral primate to jump off your cliffs with a cold one. Am I close?
You read us perfectly. The campaign is already in development, but it needs a face. Your face.
She named a figure, a very large figure. His beard nearly slipped from his fingers.
You are serious. Send me the contract. I am in.
2 local cycles later, Jacob stepped into a glass-walled office on Melora, a floating mountain range glowing through the windows. A dozen purple-skinned creatives swarmed him, each projecting a different slogan. Jacob grinned through the chaos.
We want a campaign that screams danger and delight. You'll base, jump off the Marble Horn, a cliff twice the height of your El Capitan.
Twice the height? That's a nice warm-up. Do I still get to drink a beer midair?
The beer is contractually required. We've already designed the can.
She pulled up a chart. Tourism interest had surged 400% since the apology. Melora was suddenly the galaxy's hottest destination for vertical thrills.
You are basically paying me to be the ambassador of falling. I love it.
The holographic contract materialized. Jacob signed with a finger swipe, his manic grin mirrored in the glowing terms. The room burst into applause. Alien marketers celebrated as if they'd just discovered fire. Jacob simply cracked open another beer. He was no longer just a pilot. He was the face of a galactic industry built on one simple truth. Humans don't fear heights. They monetize them. The Marble Horn pierced a violet sky. Jacob stood at its edge, a winged flag fluttering the Bureau's logo.
They said a primate can't handle heights. Watch this.
100 alien tourists pressed against a safety rail, their eyes wide. Children clutched their parents' sleeves.
Twice the height of El Cap. Let's see if this flag slows me down.
He leaped. The flag snapped taut, his wingsuit cracked open, and he plummeted into the canyon's breath.
Gravity still works. So does my inner ear.
Below, the tourists gasped. A child pointed, mouth open, as the tiny human chased the canyon floor. He pulled the chute, glided onto a silver moss landing pad, and planted the flag like a conqueror. The crowd erupted. Not in fear now, but in the wild, contagious thrill of watching something impossible become real somewhere on the platform. A tourism official lowered her camera and whispered, "That's it. That's the campaign." The Bureau printed the slogan on every vertical surface. "We don't recommend jumping, but humans will," glowed above street corners. Jacob's face beamed down from 20-story holo projectors, frozen mid-toast, beer can gleaming. Children pressed noses against view screens, asking parents if humans could really do that. Tourist stalls sold Jacob figurines by lunch. Every guidebook updated. Every travel channel led with the footage. The slogan spread faster than the remix ever had. Within a cycle, it became a chant in schoolyards, a caption on menus. Tourism bookings spiked 800% within hours. The Bureau's servers crashed twice. Melora Cliffside Tourism became the most recognized brand in 3 spiral arms. A popular interstellar channel ran a segment, How a Failed Paper Became the Galaxy's Most Lucrative Punchline. Jacob's tour dates sold out in seconds. His reply on the Bureau's feed, "Guess I'll need a bigger beer." The Galaxy had tried to prove humans were afraid of heights. Now it paid them to jump. In the Moss Lab, a new light flickered through the grime-caked window. Krell Pess lifted his head. Through the dust, a colossal holo beacon pulsed. Jacob's grin, beer raised, and the slogan he knew would be there.
"We don't recommend jumping, but humans will." He actually said yes. Of course he did.
He watched the tiny loop for a full minute. The flag unfurling, the wingsuit catching light, the eternal toast.
My paper's epitaph, lit up like a festival. I wrote that wrongness, and now it's a product.
He reached for the scope, but didn't touch it, just rested his claw on the cold metal.
They're not afraid. Never were. I built an empire on an echo, nothing.
The light outside shifted as a cloud passed, but the billboard shone on, indifferent. He turned away and let out a slow breath that fogged the glass before it vanished. He returned to the moss, his claws steady again. The spores drifted under the lens, patient and small. Jacob touched down on Earth to a backyard full of friends, fireworks, and a cooler stacked with branded beer.
They paid me to jump off an alien cliff and drink their beer. Best job in the universe.
His friends roared, raising cans. Someone had printed a banner, Ambassador of Falling. Later, the party faded. Jacob sat alone on the porch, a hollow map pulsing on the table. A new cliff, higher, sharper.
El Capitan was a warm-up. Marble Horn was a paycheck. This one's just for me.
He traced the ridgeline with a finger, imagining the drop, the rush, the precise moment his feet left the rock.
They think we're not afraid. They still don't get it. Fear's not the point. The point is what you do with it.
He cracked the fresh can. The hiss of carbonation was the only sound for miles. On the map, the new cliff blinked, twice the height of Marble Horn. Unnamed, unjumped, he grinned at the blinking cursor. Tomorrow, he'd pack the wingsuit. As the twin suns dipped, the alien city lit up like a promise. The tourism slogan towered above the skyline, its glow a constant dare. Jacob's frozen grin watched over the streets, the words, "We don't recommend jumping, but humans will," etched in neon. Far above, against the dying light, a tiny human shape stepped off a cliff. Wings spread, beer in hand, a familiar silhouette born again. Below, Krell Pess walked past the billboard. His beige vest blended into the crowd, his gaze fixed straight ahead. No one looked at him. The Galaxy had moved on, its laughter now a profitable soundtrack. He passed under the very billboard that bore his paper's renamed title and kept walking. Above, the wingsuit arced, trailing glowing spray. A child's distant cheer echoed, then faded into the hum of the city. The slogan pulsed once more, the human silhouette a pinpoint against infinity. They thought we were afraid. They were wrong. We just never had a reason to stop. And somewhere in the distant canyon, another human opened a beer, the crack of the can swallowed by wind.